South Africa, stories from the wild. I'm Francois, Fourie, wildlife photographer, professional field guide, and this is where my world of safaris meets storytelling. Hi everybody and welcome back to Above Africa, Stories from the Wild. This is episode 3. And I'm really excited about this episode because today I'm going to be talking about a safari destination that I was very fortunate to have visited earlier this year. And it was one of those destinations that as soon as you put your foot on the airplane and you were on your way back, you immediately wanted to head back there. And it was really a beautiful, eye-opening experience as far as a safari experience goes. A very different safari experience, but so special. And that destination is the incredible Tswalu Kalahari. So Tswalu Kalahari is situated in the southern Kalahari, close to the kind of Botswana border, and it's one of the largest private game reserves in South Africa. It is about 130,000 hectares of land, which is, if you're trying to fathom that, is massive. It is truly big. To put it into perspective, the Sabi Sand is about 65,000 hectares. So it is basically twice the Sabi Sand, and you only have 3 lodges on that whole property. So 130,000 hectares equates to about 250, 260,000 acres, give or take. So just an incredibly massive reserve, which makes it feel like you are completely on your own in this vastness that is the Kalahari. So it's really special. So let's talk a little bit just about the destination on its own. Like I mentioned, it's situated kind of in the southern Kalahari, and it's where the desert biome meets the savanna. And it's really beautiful. We were there in kind of the just towards the end of summer, beginning of winter, and a lot of people actually call it the green Kalahari. And the reason for that is that it's not desert per se. A lot of people think, oh, it's a desert, very arid place. But there's quite a lot of grass. There is quite a number of different trees, these massive camelthorn trees with these big sociable weaver nests. It's truly spectacular. So a lot of people do call it the green Kalahari, which is a very apt name. And when we were there were just grass all over these red dunes. It's actually such a beautiful sight. And if you take the animals that you get to see there and you bring that into that space over that time of the year, it was really special. Now, when you talk about Tswalu and you talk about an experience for guests, I mean, where do you begin? Because there's actually so much to talk about. But I think the one thing that really stood out for me about Tswalu is because it's so vast, because it's so big, you really get a feeling of solitude, exclusivity, and just you feel like you're out there on your own. And it's very rare to find that these days, where you can actually go on a safari and not see any vehicle for the whole day. Sometimes, when we are in sightings, maybe if you're with the wild dogs, yes, there will be another vehicle maybe in the sighting, but for the most part, you go off into this massive reserve and you just go and look for what you would like to find. Now, I'm probably going to hop around a little bit. I've made some notes about what I want to talk about, but I like to kind of shoot out of the hip, talk off the cuff. So we might actually just bounce around a little bit. So, like I said, limited vehicles, and again, 130,000 hectares with only 3 lodges. That is what makes it really special. And I'll talk about the lodges and the exclusivity a little bit later on. But let's just talk about the wildlife firstly, because I mean, when you go on safari, one of the biggest things that you always take into consideration is the wildlife. How is the game viewing? What are you going to see? It makes a massive part of the decision that you're going to make and the destination where you're going to go. Tswalu, for me, when I talk about wildlife, I don't think it is a first-timer destination unless you're combining it with another destination. And the reason why I'm saying that is that Tswalu very rarely see leopard as well as you would see it in the Sabi-San or the Kruger or in Zambia or Botswana. So you need to go into the mindset that when you go to Tswalu, you are going for very, very specific experiences, and leopard is not really on the cards. Um, I've personally never seen leopard there, and the times that leopards have seen, they're very skittish, and it's just very, very rare to see. However, that should not deter you from the experience because it is truly remarkable. So when you go to Tswalu, there's definitely a suggestion from my side at least that you need to go for at least 4 days. Because of the vastness and how far you need to travel, you need to give yourself sufficient amount of time. But the main animal species from, let's call it high profile species that you would like to go and see there is white and black rhino, and black rhino specifically because they've got desert adapted black rhino, which is just incredible. And the reason why they call it desert adapted black rhino, as you know, black rhinos are browsing animals, and the Kalahari per se is not known for a lot of shrubs and a lot of trees, if I can put it like that. So you just don't necessarily associate black rhino with that area, although they do occur there, but just in very small numbers. So the chance to go and see a desert adapted black rhino is very, very, very special. White rhinos you get to see there as well, very unique in their habitat. You just imagine looking at a rhino with the red dunes. It's really, really special. You also get a great opportunity to view cheetah. Cheetah is probably one of the flagship species out there. A really good opportunity to see them. You get good visuals on them because it's so open. Great opportunity to watch them hunt because it's so open. And they are allowed to off-road at Tswalu. Again, within reason, there are certain areas where they can't off-road. A lot of those red Kalahari dunes, for example, that you can't drive onto those dunes. Those dunes were crafted with the wind and the elements over thousands of years. So it's actually a very sensitive, small little habitat on those dunes. So the vehicles don't drive there. However, there are areas that's flat where the vehicles can drive, so you can actually follow the cheetahs quite nicely and see what they get up to, see what they're hunting. And the same goes for the wild dogs. They've got an incredible conservation program at Tswalu where, because they've got such vast space, 130,000 hectares, wild dogs need space. They need massive amounts of space. So the conservation project with the wild dogs that they've got there is really, really amazing, and the wild dogs are doing really well in that area. So you've got a really good chance of seeing the dogs as well. And then one of the most special experiences you can have at Tswalu is the meerkat. Now, currently, talking out of Correction, I'm not sure if anything's changed. There's 3 different family groups that you can go and view. I can't remember all of their names, but the one group I think is called the rock stars. And what happens is you'll either have a morning session or an afternoon session. So you have to kind of allocate your morning or your afternoon to go and view this family of meerkats. And in the mornings, we went in the morning, then it was really, really amazing. The guides are very good. They know exactly like where the burrows are, and they'll obviously put you in a good position. Because what happens in the morning is you arrive quite early and you have to be like very, 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 very quiet. And you go and find a place to sit. And the guides are very good. They know where the sun comes up. So they kind of position you to get like nice backlight or whatever the case might be, whatever you need. But you sit very, very quietly and you give them enough space so that you don't really interfere with them coming out. And then they emerge from their burrows. And then, you see them standing there with I'll see if I can put a photo on for you guys, but you see them standing there just catching that early morning sun rays. Great photographic opportunity, but it's just great to sit and observe. And what I love to do there was just to sit and listen. And you listen to the sounds they make and how they communicate with one another. And once they get going, it's amazing. You watch how the pups are being groomed by the adults, and eventually they will start moving off and they'll like move right past you. You just need to sit very still, don't make any sudden movements, and they move right past you. And they will go out foraging, and they'll go and look for things like sandworms and scorpions. And if you're lucky, you might see them catch one. I missed the one adult pulling out a sandworm, and unfortunately, I was just so mesmerized by watching these animals moving and foraging that I didn't even think about taking the photo. So it was really a special experience. So that's something very unique to Tswalu and the Kalahari that you can experience. And then for me, a very special thing. Anybody that knows me will know that I am obsessed with lions, especially male lions. And there is nothing quite like a Kalahari male lion. And the reason why I say that is generally Kalahari male lions are physically slightly bigger than other males. And a big reason for it, yes, genetics is one. But you also just think about the habitat that they are living in. They are walking over these sandy dunes and over these sandy open areas. So just them moving over a substrate that's probably a little bit harder to move in than the norm, you would think that they would gain a bit more muscle and be slightly bigger than the norm. And it does seem like that's the case. And then another very unique feature of that genetic line of the Kalahari lions is that beautiful black mane. And when we were there, we got a decent glimpse of the black mane lion, but he's got like, it's almost like a big ring that comes around the edges of the mane. And it's very characteristic of lions in the Kalahari. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful animals. There's obviously a lot of other game that you can see there at Tswalu, which makes it so unique because it's things that you won't see anywhere else really. Springbok, obviously the national antelope of South Africa. Shout out to the boys, they're doing very well this year, well for the last 4 years. Then oryx is an antelope that's very unique, very specific to that type of habitat. You've got sable antelope. We got a glimpse of a sable antelope on the kind of ridge close to Motsi Lodge. And obviously roan antelope. Roan antelope is actually one of the largest antelopes you find in Africa, just underneath the eland. It's a massive, massive antelope. Very rare. There's not a lot of them around. The numbers are very low. So to get to see them is also very, very, very special. So there's so many unique things. And then, of course, if you think about nocturnal animals, there is spotted hyenas there. There's also a very good population of brown hyenas. Amazing animals to see. There are quite a few places where you can see brown hyenas, but Tswalu has got a very good population of brown hyenas. And then the one thing that Tswalu over the years have become very well known for is their pangolin sightings. There's a lot of research and conservation work that's done at Tswalu, excuse me, for that specific species. And like with anything, nothing is ever given, but there is a very high likelihood at the right time of the year, especially in the winter months when it's a little bit cooler, where you can see pangolin. And aardvark is also not an uncommon sight. It's not something you will see every day, but it's not an uncommon sight to see. And even aardwolf has been seen in that area. So there's a lot of uniqueness to Tswalu in terms of the wildlife that you can see. And that's why you really need 4 days to see, because of the vastness in the reserve and the amount of different species that you can see. And we haven't even touched on the birds. So just so many things to see. The sociable weavers with the sociable weavers nests, right time of the year. If they've got chicks, you might even see a Cape Cobra in those nests looking to try and find the chicks in there. It is vast. I can't wait to go back. I'm hopefully going back early next year. We were there, like I mentioned, I think it was in May month, and it was really, really special. It was cold in the mornings, make no mistake. It was beanie and scarf and gloves, but it's just amazing. And for a photographer, it is heaven. The opportunities are literally endless. And what's also great about it is that it's not just endless for the wildlife. If you just think about the landscapes that you've got and the stars at night. The other day, I spoke to a guy that grew up in the Kalahari, and he actually mentioned something that was quite special to me. Is he says at night in the Kalahari, when you look up and you see the amount of stars, like it's mind blowing how many stars you get to see if it's not a full moon. And you look up at the stars, he said it almost feels like you can put your hand and grab a handful of stars. That's how many stars you're actually looking at in the Kalahari. And then as a photographer, the astrophotography there is just second to none. It's something guests like to do. They go out maybe after dinner to go and get some astrophotography done with that Coronaberg Mountains in the background, and maybe a tree with a sociable weaver nest. So there's a lot of opportunities for photographers. Landscape, astro, wildlife. It's really, really, really special. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the actual lodges that you have on the property. Now, like I mentioned, there's 3 distinctive lodges on the property, each with its own feel and its own purpose, all built with the idea of absolute luxury and privacy and connection to the land. How they built it is really remarkable. And we'll put a link into the description for you guys to go and have a look at the different lodges. The first lodge that I'd like to touch base, and this is where we were based, it's Matsu Lodge, and it's kind of the heart of Tswalu. It's very contemporary, but it's very elegant. It's incredibly comfortable and very, very luxurious. And this lodge is really perfect for couples, solo travelers even, anyone wanting like a really immersive, peaceful experience in the Kalahari. It's really, really special. I mean, you can have a family there. You might just have 2 different groups. Some of the rooms does have like a bit of a fold-out couch it can make into a bed, but usually you just take 2 rooms. The rooms are not super far from one another. However, saying that, when we're talking about family travel and group travel, there's another lodge called Takuni, which is a private villa. Now, this is perfect for families, for groups traveling together. It's total exclusivity. There's nobody else there. It's just you and your group or your family. It's like a home in the wilderness, complete with a private chef, a private vehicle, a private guide, and it's all just for you, and it overlooks the vastness of the Kalahari. It's really a beautiful spot and great for families and groups to travel with. And then we've got the newest addition to the Tswalu collection, and that is Luapi. Now, Luapi is like ultra luxuriously built. I mean, all of Tswalu's lodges is pretty much ultra luxurious, but Luapi is the newest one in the collection, and it was really, really built amazingly. It's kind of when you say tented camp, it doesn't do it justice, because it is, but it isn't. But it redefines sustainable luxury, if I can put it like that. It was really built with nature and the environment in mind, and it's absolute sophistication, solitude, exclusivity, privacy, luxury, all bottled up in one. And it's the perfect balance for either traveling solo or romantic couples. The rooms, or the luxury tents, if you want to call them that, is built with their own kitchenette. There's space, there's an extra room, so there's space for somebody to stay with you if you want to travel as a small family. And again, you've got your own private guide. But at Luapi, I think there's 6 different rooms that is built. So it's really, really, really special. But what I just want to touch on, I'm going to do this at the end, because it's something quite unique to Tswalu, and I think it's something they got right very, very well, which makes your experience incredible. But I just want to quickly touch on how you actually get to Tswalu, because Tswalu is incredibly isolated if you look at it on a map. It's like right against that Botswana border, and it is in the middle of nowhere, in a reserve that's 250,000 acres. So in saying that, it's actually surprisingly easy to get to Tswalu. It's a very easy flight from Johannesburg straight into the Tswalu airstrip. You leave from an area at OR Tambo International Airport, a private area called Fireblade, and that's where you board the plane. And that's where you fly out from. So you don't go through the whole OR Tambo. You go straight there. There's a customs there that you can clear customs, get your passport stamped. So if you go from there, you can even go out of South Africa and into Botswana. It's a very unique and special way to travel. And then it's about an hour and 15-minute flight or so from the Fireblade in Joburg straight to Tswalu. You land at Tswalu on a big tarred runway. You get off there, you're met by a guide who then takes you to the lodge. Now, Luwapi is about a 15-minute drive from the airstrip. Motse is about a 20 to 25-minute drive. Takuni is quite far from the airstrip. I think it's about a 45-minute to an hour's drive. You need to take into account that when you drive, you're driving in the reserve. So there's the opportunity of maybe seeing something along the way, and obviously you want to stop and look at it. So take that into account when you do think about traveling to Tswalu. Tswalu is, for me, it's one of the destinations that I would 110% recommend to our guests. It is an experience that is a little bit more expensive than the other properties, but it's for good reason, and you definitely get what you pay for with Tswalu. It is worth every cent. It is really, really special. And what makes Tswalu so unique, apart from all the amazing things that I've just spoken about, and we had some amazing times at Tswalu. We saw prize of lions hunting. We saw the male lions. We saw the meerkats on 2 occasions. We saw the wild dogs hunting. We saw them on 3 different occasions. We saw the cheetahs on 3 different occasions. We got to see brown hyena. We saw oryx, sable, roan antelope. Really special. Black rhino we managed to get to see as well. Like, we were very spoiled in the 4 days when we were there. There was not a day where we needed to worry about whether or not we were going to see something. It was just absolutely remarkable. But what makes it so special is the exclusivity of Tswalu and the way they've structured how their guests are set up at the lodge, and how the wildlife experience and the game viewing experience is set up, because every single guest that go to Tswalu has got their own vehicle and their own guide. So you don't have to worry about any other guest in camp. You're on your own time. You don't have to worry. Like, if you are 15 minutes late, you don't have to worry about other guests sitting and waiting for you on a vehicle, or you need to be linked out to meet with them or anything like that, because each vehicle is allocated to a couple or to a family or to a group of friends traveling together. It doesn't matter. It's just all inclusive, which I think is really, really amazing. And the ability for Tswalu to be able to do that and deliver that enhances the guest experience tenfold. So it's really, really special. And that's the one thing that I think sets them aside from a lot of other destinations where you're often with other guests. And I mean, being with other guests is amazing. You make lifelong friends on a safari. That I can tell you for sure. But sometimes it is nice just to be on your own, do your own thing, be at your own pace, and not to worry too much about other people that's on the vehicle. Well, everyone, that is Tswalu in a nutshell. An amazing destination in South Africa, one that I can really recommend to anybody that really wants to go there. It is one of my favorite destinations in South Africa. Incredible game viewing, incredible accommodation. The lodges are just beautiful, super luxurious, great staff, great food. The chefs there are really amazing. One thing, now that I talk about food, that I have to just mention is that they've got a restaurant there called Klein Jan. So just for some context, this Klein Jan is a restaurant that was opened up by a local chef from South Africa called Jan Hendrik, who actually is a Michelin star chef. He's got restaurants all over the world, notably in France. But he actually got his Michelin star from Malva pudding. And he is an incredible chef. And he created the Klein Jan experience at Tswalu. And if you do stay at Tswalu, they will try and incorporate that experience into your stay. So food is on an absolute next level at Tswalu. It is a massive part of the experience. It's not just about the wildlife and the game viewing and the guides and being out in the field in the beautiful lodge. It's about the people, it's about the food, and it's about the whole experience. And they've really packaged it quite well at Tswalu. So I can't recommend it enough. I can't wait to go back. And I can't wait to tell you about more things that we are going to chat about here on Above Africa Stories from the Wild. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, everybody. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you find this incredibly valuable and that you might make a decision to go to Tswalu. And if you would like to get in contact with us, we'll help you plan, we'll help you put something truly remarkable and amazing together. I'll put a couple of links of videos of the rooms and things that I've done in the past at Tswalu. But for now, thank you for listening. Looking forward to episode 4 coming. And if you've got anything that you want to listen to, if you want me to talk about and give you some more information, put it in the comments, let us know, and we will see you out in the field. Cheers, everyone.